Hey guys, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk, and we'll see how long this lasts and what comes. But the main thing that I want to touch on tonight is money. All right. I've had a lot of issues around money in my past, and I had to work really diligently to open up and unclog, like a toilet bowl, if you will, unclog my root chakra. All right, so I had all this energy in there that was constipated, and it took a lot of work to clear through that. Um, we have to first off remember that your whatever you're holding in your body, those old karmic debts, if you will, those old fear programs, those old matrices that you have within your body are going to constantly be demonstrated in your outer reality. So a lot of us have struggled with money. Some of you might be struggling with money now and how to generate and how to overcome the fear. And my approach is never like, let's go find an external solution, like a financial advisor who's going to help you manage your money, because all that's going to do is it's going to put the fear to sleep, right? Because fear is either dormant or it's activated. And depending on your outer circumstances in life, the universe or your guides usually know when you're ready for a template rewrite or an upgrade, if you will, and will throw a curveball your way to get that energy or that fear to activate so that it can experience a cellular release so that that fear can be removed, which is really just a program that you adopted unconsciously or that was passed on to you genetically. And you've been placed here to break the curse of that program. Now, most of your fear is not going to be yours, right? It's something that you're carrying from a past life, something that was lodged in you or inbred in you. And even though you took it on as your own, so in that respect, you can say it's your own, right? We have to be accountable for what is ours. The truth of the matter is it's not really your own. It's something that you've subscribed to. And as we become awakened, we start to place our awareness on where we still hold limits and what in our everyday reality causes us to move into contraction as opposed to expansion, into suppression as opposed to expression. So I'm going to give you a practical tool today just to really, partake in your healing process, in your clearing process, anything that's keeping your root chakra blocked. So you can either play this out physically or you can do it in your mind. All right, because obviously, if you can envision a scenario where you have to spend money, then you'll tap into that frequency of contraction. You'll be like, right? That used to happen to me a lot. Like my friends would ask me to go for dinner, and the thought of it made me contract, so I wouldn't go. And when I didn't go, I would bypass an opportunity for clearing. All right? I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that when we go into contraction, all right, when we go into contraction and we bypass the opportunity, all we do is stuff it back down, stuff it back down, stuff it back down, stuff it back down. That fear program that you're running is trying to exit your body. So every time that you feel contraction within your body, all right, there's an energy that's trying to make its way out, that's trying to leave the premises, if you will, that is your body. And by contracting, you don't let it. You're blocking its exit. So a practical tool will be like if you can take $4 or $5 and take a friend out for a coffee. That $5 is nothing if you think about it as an opportunity for clearing. That's a healing session and it's a coffee. It's a 2-in-1 deal. All right. Now, as you pay for that, you may feel that contraction come up for you. That's the fear trying to exit your body. All right. In the past, in your unawakened state, you would let those emotions in a way overtake you and send you into a fight or flight mode, into nervousness, into fear, all of that stuff. You would let that overtake you. But the way to unsubscribe from limiting belief systems is to experience what we're feeling, right? But in a way, you have to separate from the thought. You have to separate from the emotion. You have to separate the thought and the emotion and pay attention to what's coming up, right? There's movement there, which is really great. You're feeling the fear come up. You're feeling it being called to the surface. And all you have to do is open up the body, expand the body to make way for it to then leave, to create a passageway for it to then leave. Think of it as like dark matter that's been trapped in your body for a long time. And it's not dark like demonic. It's just old. All right. It's a belief system that is rooted in separation, in limitation, and lack. All right. And the truth of who you are is that you know you're worthy of being abundant. You know it deep down, but you've struggled with it. So as you pay for your friends, all right, as you pay for your friends, first off, set the intention that you want to heal. All right. Universe, this is me meeting you halfway. I'm willing to conquer the fear. I'm willing to evolve. I'm willing to promote self-healing within myself, right? Because you're taking an action. Fear lodges in the root chakra. So it requires action when you're dealing with fear. You have to move beyond it. You can meditate as much as you want. You can go, you can be a Buddhist all you want, do whatever you need, go introspectively as much as you want, which is great, but it's not enough. When you're dealing with things like fear, you have to take action in the direction of overcoming it. So when you're paying for your friends, track what's going on within your body, observe it, try to separate from it. And just by paying attention to it, you're going to allow it to move through and out of you, to pass through and out of you and back into space. You're sending it back home. If you go into contraction and then you don't pay, right, all you're going to do is hold it hostage. So think of it as like a little child that you've been holding hostage. It's a horrible example, but it's trying to free itself from that cage. It needs you to free it. It needs you to be proactive in letting it pass through and out of you. All right. The other example I can give you is if you had a baby and the baby is learning how to walk, you're not going to just interfere in that process. You're going to observe it, even though you can feel the baby's struggle, but you're going to hold a space for that baby. You're going to hold a space. You're not going to judge it. You're going to let it do its thing. So as you feel that contraction, just know that that's just dense energy clearing out of your body. All right. It's energy that you're processing out of the system. And hold a space for it. Just observe it. You guys, all we need to heal is awareness. That's all you need is awareness. Your awareness is like a spiritual flashlight. So as you settle into a space of observance, that is your awareness. You're observing what's expressing itself, what's trying to leave your body. You're not judging it. And as you're observing it, you're truly boosting it into a higher level of consciousness. It's going to be afraid, though. It's afraid to leave your body because it's been there for so long. It's been living with you rent-free for so long. All right? So the idea is to let it know you're safe. I've got you. I'm always here for you, right? And you give it the love that it needs and reassure it that there's nothing to be afraid of. There's a whole beautiful, magnificent world out there, and there's nothing to fear. You just have to give it love. You have to send love to your fear in order for it to disappear. Ascension is not easy. Awakening is not easy because when you do, you start to get flooded with these higher dimensional galactic light codes, these encodements, these sequences. And those light codes, they go into every little tunnel or every little corridor within your DNA, and they seek out what is still there that is of an older dimension. And its job is to flush out the system of density. So awakening is super hard, you guys, but we do it every day, 24/7. We devote our lives to it because as we do that, we're clearing stuff for the entire collective, right? We're representatives of the light. We are soldiers of light. This is what we do. We are grid keepers. We hold realities. We hold that vision of a new earth as we go about our days. We're trying to hold all these realities together. while going about our days. It's a lot of maintenance, it's a lot of management on an energetic level, but we do the work, right? And whenever you feel the fear, go the opposite direction. The fear is going to try to convince you that you shouldn't spend money. Look at it in the face, fly in the face of it, and spend that money. It doesn't have to be a lot, again. And the most important component in all of this, all right, is to set an intention to heal. Universe, I'm afraid right now. God, whatever you believe in, I'm afraid right now, but I'm willing. I'm willing to beat this thing. And I'm willing to do this not only for myself, but for everyone that preceded me, for my ancestors that didn't have the tools at the time. They didn't have that sword of truth. They didn't have that dart of discernment. They didn't have all that stuff to clear it. You're doing this for the collective, all right? And just know you're doing a wonderful job. The idea is to recognize that you contracted to clear the contractions, all right? You contracted to be here on earth at this time as an incarnate being of light, a higher dimensional being of love, a higher dimensional being of light, to really bring awareness to all the areas in which you contract, all the areas where you contract. And then rather than contraction, then you go into expansion. You breathe, you observe it, you acknowledge it, you let it express itself as you would with a child. You let it do its thing, all right? But the idea is to take action, even if it's a tiny action with a giant intention behind it. All right, $4 can have a giant intention, all right, behind it. And that can start to shift your reality. That can start to move you, vibrate you into a higher dimensional timeline. And once you transcend that particular belief and you make it to the next layer and you're above it, and we use above just because we have to use words to kind of explain and linearize these multidimensional concepts. Once you transcend those layers, then from that space, because you're no longer governed by the fear, you can actually manifest money on command. That's the power that you have. We all have this power, but we don't all access it. We don't all open up that present, right? We don't all open up that gift, but you have the capacity to do this. I believe in you. And I'm sharing this information because I've been through this. I was the guy that lived eating tuna cans and eggs and spending going to the 99-cent store. And then I took it in my own hands and I decided, you know what, I'm going to have to clear this file of fear eventually, whether it's in another lifetime or later in life. So why not do it now? Why not co-create now? Why not collaborate in my own healing now? All right. So I went on a little bit of a rant, but that's the information for tonight. I love you guys.